I challenge you to a duel. I accept.
Robin Hood, Men in Tights wasn't just a parody. It was an ambush in tights and leather, with jokes flying faster than arrows. But behind the scenes, it was barely holding together. That accent joke? A direct hit on Kevin Costner's Robin Hood. Even decades later, Elwis still calls it one of his proudest roles. And Dick Van Patton as the Abbot? A hidden bridge between TV and film history. These are 20 weird facts about Robin Hood, Men in Tights, and tucked behind the pratfalls and punchlines, a double entendre hiding in plain sight. Hold your aim. Mel Brooks never misses a punchline. Number 1. Sometimes the greatest ideas come from the most unexpected sources. For Robin Hood, Men in Tights, the immediate spark didn't come from a script meeting or a high-powered Hollywood pitch session. It came directly from a disgruntled teenager. Mel Brooks' son, Max, had a friend named Geordie Chandler, the son of Brooks' dentist, Dr. Howard Chandler. After seeing Kevin Costner's Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, young Geordie was absolutely furious. He couldn't stand how serious and humorless it was, especially with Costner's notably American accent. He vocally complained to his father, who then relayed the passionate teenage critique to Mel Brooks during a routine dental appointment. Brooks, a master of parody with a keen eye for what audiences were truly thinking, or mocking, immediately recognized the comedic gold in Geordie's raw frustration. The boy's visceral reaction served as the perfect gauge of public sentiment, confirming a clear comedic opening for a contrasting take. This unexpected feedback from a non-industry source solidified Brooks's conviction to move forward with a full-blown spoof. Thus, a legendary comedy was born, not in a sterile boardroom, but from a heartfelt teenage rant channeled through a dental office visit. It's a testament to Brooks's genius that he could find such potent inspiration in an ordinary yet passionate civilian critique, turning a simple appointment into a pivotal moment for cinematic history and a new kind of Robin Hood. Number 2. Before they ever drew a blade on screen, they trained like real swashbucklers. To give Men in Tights its sharp edge, and to parody sword fights with real flair, Mel Brooks sent his cast to an intensive swordplay boot camp. No shortcuts, no stunt double stand-ins, just choreography, bruises, and repetition. Carrie Elwis, who already had fencing experience from The Princess Bride, helped lead the charge. But the rest of the cast? Total rookies. So for weeks, they trained under fight coordinators who treated the parody with the same respect they'd give Shakespeare or Errol Flynn. Timing had to be tight. Movements exaggerated, but believable. Comedy born from precision, not chaos. By the time cameras rolled, even the jokes had technique behind them. Because if you're going to make fun of a genre, you'd better know how to do it right. Number 3. Carrie Elwis was laid low, recovering from a back injury. His Princess Bride role as Wesley made him a swashbuckling name, but Hollywood's calls had grown quiet, offering less inspiring roles. Then, the phone rang. A gravelly voice announced, "Hello, this is Mel Brooks." Carrie snorted, laughing. It had to be a friend, pulling an elaborate prank. He promptly hung up. Cold dread replaced his amusement. Could it be? Moments later, the phone rang again. Same voice, same name. Caller ID confirmed. A studio line. It was the real Mel Brooks, offering Elwis the lead in Robin Hood, Men in Tights. Elwis, mortified, scrambled for apologies. But Mel, appreciating a good gag, simply roared, "You're perfect," Brooks declared. "You played a hero with a sword once. Now let's make fun of him." Carrie was stunned. He felt deeply understood. Brooks got him, recognized his unique ability to deliver deadpan absurdity while still embodying a hero. That wink, that blade, that raised eyebrow. This wasn't just parody, it was a clever remix of cinematic legacy. In that moment, the dashing Dread Pirate Roberts passed the torch, becoming the delightfully ridiculous Robin of Locksley. All because one legendary call, almost missed, utterly changed everything for a hero in tights.
A present for you and your guests.
That's a wild boar!
No, that's a wild pig. That's a wild boar.
Very amusing.
Number 4. He wasn't a movie star. He wasn't even looking for a movie role. Dave Chappelle was just a young stand-up with a sharp tongue and sharper timing, working comedy clubs and waiting for a break. And then one day, the door opened. Mel Brooks was casting Men in Tights. He and Carrie Elwis were watching audition tapes when Chappelle's came on. It wasn't polished, it wasn't traditional, but Mel leaned forward, grinning. That's the guy. Carrie Elwis agreed. There was something different about him. Natural, offbeat, unpredictable. No callback, no Hollywood politics. They called him that same day and said, "You're Achu." Chappelle was stunned. Not just because he landed the role, but because Mel Brooks believed in him. On set, he held his own with comedy legends, improvised, reacted, learned, and walked away with his first film credit from the man who redefined comedy for generations. It wasn't just a debut, it was the spark that lit the fuse. The moment the world got its first glimpse of Dave Chappelle, in tights, with a sword and already stealing the scene. Number 5. It sounds like a joke, but it wasn't. At one point, the mighty Little John, the gentle giant of Sherwood Forest, was almost played by wrestling icon Hulk Hogan. The mustache, the muscles, the mania. It was the early 90s and Hulk was everywhere. TV, cereal boxes, action figures, and now, maybe Sherwood? Mel Brooks didn't shut it down immediately. In fact, he seriously considered it, but then he pictured Hogan shouting through the forest and realized something. What the role needed wasn't just brawn, it needed timing, charm, goofy sincerity. Hulk didn't get the part, but for one brief moment, Little John almost had 24-inch pythons and a catchphrase.
Help me! I can't swim! I'm drowning! Oh God, I'm drowning!
Number 6. It could have been her. Madeline Kahn, Mel Brooks' longtime comedic muse, was originally considered for Latrine, the castle's bizarre cackling soothsayer. The role was weird, wild, written with her in mind. But when contract negotiations hit a snag over salary, Kahn quietly walked away. No drama, no press, just a missed chance to reunite two comedy icons. The part went to Tracey Ullman, who ran with it in her own chaotic direction. But you can still feel the ghost of Kahn in every eye roll and bubbling potion. A what if, sealed into the castle walls. Number 7. The trees weren't just pretty, they were history. Lake Sherwood, named after the Sherwood Forest of Robin Hood lore, was the original location for The Adventures of Robin Hood in 1938, starring Errol Flynn. Decades later, Mel Brooks brought his parody right back to the same hills. It wasn't just a nod, it was a circle. The same forest that hosted Hollywood's golden age hero now hosted the tights, the jokes, the chaos. And somewhere, Flynn probably smiled. Number 8. Mel Brooks never met a pun he didn't love. So when it came time to name his over-the-top villain, he didn't go subtle. The Sheriff of Rottingham wasn't just a spoof of Nottingham, it was a full-blown toilet joke. Rotten and ham. Two words that sum up his entire character. Spoiled, loud, and always playing to the back row. Played to perfection by Roger Rees, the sheriff stumbled, shrieked, and sashayed his way into parody legend. Because in a Mel Brooks movie, the villain doesn't just lose, he humiliates himself with style.
Maybe if you tell me the bad news in a good way, it won't sound so bad.
The bad news in a good way. Yes, I can do that.
He just beat the crap out of me and my men. He hates you and he loves your brother, Richard. He wants to see you hanged.
Number 9. You weren't imagining it. Prince John's mole really did move, scene to scene, cheek to cheek, and no one ever mentions it. That wasn't an accident. It was a direct callback to Mel Brooks' Young Frankenstein, where Marty Feldman's Igor kept switching his hump without explanation. It's the kind of joke Brooks perfected. Absurd, visual, and never pointed out. Just weird enough to haunt you. Number 10. She wasn't supposed to do it. In the middle of all the chaos, right after the sheriff crashes straight through the roof of her shack, actress Tracey Ullman made a choice. She looked up, saw the sagging wooden slats above her, and suddenly blurted out,
"Thank you!"
It wasn't in the script, no one expected it, but when she delivered the line, the crew cracked up. Even Mel Brooks, who'd seen it all, laughed so hard he had to step off set. There was something so absurd about it. This ridiculous character, complimenting a half-rotted shack like it was a castle. They kept rolling, no one called cut, and Brooks knew instantly the line had to stay. It became one of those perfect little improv moments, small, strange, unforgettable. Proof that sometimes the best jokes don't come from the page, they come from the actors, just looking around and saying what no one else would.
You mean like this?
Oh my God! Oh my God!
I've got a headache.
I've got a headache. Where are you going? Oh, bugger! I was that close. I touched it.
Number 11. In most movies, resurrection takes a budget. In Men in Tights, it took a mint. When Latrine revives Sheriff with a glowing lifesaver pill, it looks like a prop, but it wasn't. It was literally a piece of candy, probably something Brooks found between takes. No wires, no lights, no CGI, just comedic timing and a little peppermint. It worked because it shouldn't work. It was cheap, ridiculous, and perfect for a movie that broke every rule on purpose. Number 12. Mel Brooks, the comedic mastermind behind Robin Hood Men in Tights, wasn't content just pulling the strings behind the camera. He graced the screen himself, delivering one of the film's most memorable and outlandish characters, Rabbi Tuckman. True to Brooks's signature style, Rabbi Tuckman is introduced with a bang, famously proclaiming himself
and moelle extraordinaire.
His anachronistic presence, complete with a distinctly Yiddish accent, a penchant for unexpected quips, added yet another layer of absurdity to the already wild parody. Whether he was leading a high-energy number or dispensing off-kilter advice, Brooks infused the role with his unique energy and self-aware humor. It was more than just a cameo. It was a quintessential Mel Brooks performance. His direct, on-screen appearance served as a delightful signature, proving he could still steal scenes and deliver big laughs even from within his own meticulously crafted world of cinematic lunacy.
And who might you be with the exceptionally long feather in your hat?
I am Robin of Locksley.
I've just come from Maid Marian, the lady whose heart you stole. You prince of thieves, you.
Number 13. It sounds like a throwaway joke. Carrie Elwis turns to the camera and says,
Unlike some other Robin Hoods, I can speak with an English accent.
The audience laughs, but the jab, it lands. Because in 1991, Kevin Costner played Robin Hood without even attempting a British accent. He fought, he brooded, he romanced, all in pure American. And fans noticed. So did critics. So did everyone. Mel Brooks noticed too. When Men in Tights went into production, he gave Carrie Elwis full license to swing hard. And Elwis, a real Englishman, leaned into it with style. That one line, it became one of the most quoted moments in the movie. Not just because it's funny, but because it's true. And everyone knew exactly who it was aimed at. Number 14. You probably missed it. Will Scarlett OHara, the overly dramatic sidekicks, wasn't just a name. It was a setup, a full-blown pun on Scarlett OHara from Gone with the Wind. Same drama, same flair, same over-the-top energy. He didn't need to quote the movie. He was the joke. The name alone smashed two genres together, Southern romance and medieval mayhem, just so Mel Brooks could get one more laugh out of movie history. Number 15. Before he ever spoofed Robin Hood, Mel Brooks was already a Broadway kid at heart. From his early days, he didn't just appreciate musicals, he lived in them, understanding that a perfect melody or a witty lyric could elevate comedy to an art form. His legacy is filled with iconic musical moments. The Producers with its infamous Springtime for Hitler, the raucous theme song of Blazing Saddles, or his self-penned tunes for High Anxiety. Men in Tights was no different. From the rousing Men in Tights anthem that introduced his merry men, to the utterly absurd yet tender ballad of Marian, every single lyric, every rhyme, every ridiculous refrain came straight from Mel's singular pen. He never delegated this crucial part of his comedic vision. Instead, he sat down, as he always did, and painstakingly crafted them himself, often scribbling ideas by hand on his trusty yellow legal pads. Brooks truly believed that his brand of rapid-fire, often silly comedy worked exponentially better when it had rhythm, when it danced, when it sang. The music didn't just accompany the jokes, it was the joke, reinforcing the absurdity and pulling the audience deeper into his world. And in Men in Tights, that cherished musical tradition didn't just continue, it hit a whole new pitch of brilliance. Because only Mel Brooks could write a truly catchy love song that celebrated the very concept of chastity belts, proving his mastery of musical satire. Number 16. Casting Dick Van Patton as Frier Tuck wasn't random. It was a deliberate choice by Mel Brooks. Brooks had worked with him before. On the 1975 TV series When Things Were Rotten, a short-lived Robin Hood parody that showcased much of Brooks's signature zany humor. That cult classic TV show walked so Men in Tights could dance. Bringing Dick Van Patton back wasn't just about his talent, it was Mel Brooks's signature meta-wink, a knowing nod, connecting his comedic universe across two formats and nearly 2 decades. One enduring Robin Hood franchise, 2 comedic adaptations, and 1 Frier Tuck. Older, wiser, but still delightfully confused. Number 17. Mel Brooks didn't just break the fourth wall, he obliterated it. A camera crashes through Marian's window mid-bath, then backs out like nothing happened. Robin pulls a rope and reveals a glowing exit sign. He slices through a man's donut mid-duel and apologizes. Ah Chu wears a baseball cap like it's part of his uniform. The abbot bumps straight into the camera. And when the plot completely unravels, Robin shrugs and says,
Wait a minute, I'm not supposed to lose. Let me see the script.
these weren't mistakes, they were messages. This wasn't just parody, it was open rebellion. And you, the audience, were always in on the joke. Number 18. The musical numbers in Robin Hood, Men in Tights, almost didn't make it to the screen. Midway through production, a studio executive argued the songs were too silly, too frequent, too much for a parody film. They pushed for cuts, even suggesting no music at all. But Mel Brooks didn't flinch. For him, music wasn't just an addition, it was fundamental to his unique comedic alchemy. He pushed absurdity to its peak and cemented gags in the audience's mind through song. No music, he famously told them, means no Brooks. The studio, understanding his uncompromising vision, reluctantly relented. Today, those unforgettable songs, from the rousing title anthem to the hilarious Men in Tights number, aren't just part of the film's humor. They are the humor. Sharp, stupid, hilarious, the heartbeat of the film. Mel didn't just save the songs, he saved the movie's soul. Number 19. He's worn a mask, crossed swords, and played it straight in a world of lunacy. But ask Carrie Elwis what fans still stop him for. And it's not Wesley, it's Robin of Locksley, in tights. The role was absurd. He knew it. Mel Brooks knew it. That was the point. He got to wink at the camera, break the fourth wall, deliver one-liners that somehow managed to feel heroic and ridiculous at the same time. And decades later, it still follows him. People quote lines at airports. They bow in hotel lobbies. One man even challenged him to a duel using complimentary coffee stirrers. Elwis has called it one of the greatest joys of his career. Not because it was a blockbuster, not because it won awards, but because it made people laugh and never stopped. In a career full of fairy tales and fight scenes, Men in Tights gave him something rare. A character who could make fun of the legend, and somehow become one too.
Good people who have traveled from villages near and far, lend me your ears. That's disgusting.
Number 20. It didn't make headlines when it opened, and certainly wasn't hailed as a masterpiece. Robin Hood, Men in Tights landed in theaters in 1993 with a shrug from critics and a box office tally of around $72 million worldwide against its $20 million budget. While a respectable return, this was overshadowed by blockbuster expectations and left critics largely unimpressed with its too silly, too broad, and too much style of humor. They seemed to miss the precise genius in its unrestrained parody. But audiences? They knew better. Ignoring the lukewarm critical consensus, they embraced its outrageous humor. They quoted the memorable lines, sang the ridiculous songs, and eagerly rented it again and again on VHS, literally, until the tape reels began to wear thin. It became a treasured item passed among friends, building a quiet following that grew steadily through word of mouth. Over time, something truly remarkable happened. This movie, which critics had dismissed as a fleeting jest, steadily transformed into the definitive Robin Hood for an entire generation. Its enduring appeal wasn't rooted in historical accuracy or sophisticated storytelling. Instead, it thrived because it was utterly fearless in its commitment to absurdity. It relentlessly mocked historical tropes, gleefully broke the fourth wall, and danced in ridiculous costumes, never once apologizing for its outrageousness. Mel Brooks didn't just spoof a legend, he cleverly handed it back to the audience, giving them a version that celebrated pure, unadulterated fun. Now, decades later, Men in Tights stands as a fixture in comedy discussions, a meme long before memes even existed. It's a true cult classic that proved it didn't need critical acclaim to succeed. It just needed genuine laughter and an audience willing to be silly. Because sometimes, the films that dare to swing the wildest are precisely the ones that never stop hitting their mark.
A chastity belt? Oh, that's going to chafe my willy.
Bonus fact. It sounds innocent. Robin Hood, Men in Tights. But say it again, slowly. That's not just a parody. That's a wink. The title works both ways, poking fun at heroic masculinity, while dressing them in tights and letting them dance about it. It's pure Mel Brooks, cheeky, clever, and just inappropriate enough to make your grandma squint. Because in a world of macho legends, sometimes the funniest thing you can do is put the hero in pantyhose. It wasn't the most serious Robin Hood, or the most refined, or the most historically accurate, but it was the one that danced, winked, and shot arrows straight through the fourth wall. Robin Hood, Men in Tights didn't just spoof a legend, it made him sing, sweat, and sashay across a stage, in green lycra. And behind every absurd moment, a director who knew that laughter is rebellion. That comedy doesn't need permission. It just needs timing. So if this one made you laugh, or brought back memories of quoting lines with friends, drop a comment. Tell us what movie should ride into Sherwood next, because around here, we still believe in tights, tunics, and total chaos, and we'll never stop robbing from the boring to give to the weird.